Hello and welcome to another episode of The Machine's Marketing Across Industry. I'm here with co-founders of The Machine, Carlos and Naera. And today we're talking about skincare and technology. And I wanted to talk to you about Fen. This is a brand that you basically helped start from scratch. Can you tell me a bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. So Fen is a face scrubber, and it was developed by one of our clients, Cetex Technologies, which is a Carnegie Mellon University spinoff. We've been working with them many years with many other tech they develop. But basically, what they do is they have a team of engineers and product designers and PhDs that actually challenge the standards of some products or how they're produced and designed to just improve and enhance their performance. So they hired us to basically, like you said, start from scratch, come up with a name, a logo, package design, the whole identity, and so forth. And it is now live on Amazon right now.
Awesome. So can you tell me a bit more about how you approach something like that? So obviously, you have this new technology and improved product, but how do you start to build a narrative around that?
Well, first of all, Fen, the technology is actually currently patent pending. I think there's like 2 patent pending. So the technology was actually engineered by the PhDs, and it's actually designed for precision and accuracy when it comes to cleansing and cleaning. And if you look at the face scrubber, which we'll show you a little bit later, each strand of the scrubber is actually shaped like a triangle. And so that's actually by design with a purpose. And that triangular prismatic design kind of led us to name the product Fen, which is actually in French, which means fine, refine.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so from there, the Fen's brand narrative became, what was it? Finally, like FINELY. What is it? Sculpting skin with precision and accuracy. And we were actually really gung-ho about this project at a time when the skincare industry has been booming globally, not just in the Asian world, but just also I think the Asian beauty kind of like crossed over to the Western, and like everybody, not just women but also men, are just so into their daily skincare routine. So I think this is actually a very perfect timing for us to launch Fen. And I hope that we will continue growing the product.
It's definitely an emerging market. Can I see the product?
Yeah.
So but go ahead. This is the packaging.
Very cool. Interesting. Now, what is with the pieces of color there
on the F?
in the logo? Yeah.
Oh, the light pink and the blue. Well, that is, we want to say that it's all very gender neutral, that it's open to everybody. It's a very inclusive, brand. And it's not even just about the gender, it's also about the age as well. Anybody from kids to older generation can actually use Fen. And as a matter of fact, one of our clients' teenage son is actually using that face scrubber.
Oh.
Through his early years. So and when we then did the whole main product design for on Amazon, one of the static images says, and we put faces of all different genders and culture and ages and so forth. And at the bottom says, for every skin, for every needs, and every face deserves better care. So I think it wasn't designed within the branding, but it just came out very, very naturally. So it's all very inclusive. It's for everybody.
That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, seeing the market as it is, and then being able to take a product to market already with that idea in mind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And was that something that you were thinking of? Because, I mean, it's a fairly crowded market. You know, there's a
It
lot of
is.
different face scrubbers and things like that available on the market.
Mm-hmm.
From your point of view, was that something that you were thinking of, you know, being able to differentiate yourself from such a crowded marketplace?
Yeah, I think the inspiration came frankly from the design. And when we say design, we mean the engineer design, not the graphic
Yeah.
design, right? The engineer design inspired the graphic design and everything about the brand. So that's why we have, which is not very standard out there, but we have a prismatic box, right?
Yeah.
And they're mostly square or round or whatever, right? But this makes a point right away. You're like, oh, why is this triangular or prismatic? Because the bulk of the product out there, all the, I wouldn't say the bulk, every product out there, pretty much, the bristles are they have round tips, right? So when you scrub your face, with a round tip, it doesn't really do as much scrubbing as if you have three hard edges. So the tips of all these bristles have the hard edge. They're yet gentle on your skin. They're not
They're very
irritate
gentle.
or anything, but they're a little more. That's why and I was talking before about the sculpting. They kind of sculpt your face clean, and so that's a key differentiator. And so everything about it, the logo, the packaging, and so forth, is around the story about the sculpting with the prismatic bristles.
Now, even though we keep saying like the triangular, prismatic, like the edges, the triangle, and so forth, there's nothing harsh about it. Even when we say sculpting, finely sculpting, there's nothing. If you feel that on your hand,
Yeah, it's very soft.
it's really soft, and it just feels like your skin is actually getting a nice massage
Yeah.
while thoroughly, cleaning your pores.
Yeah, it's like using the technology to just make it more effective.
Right.
You
Very
know.
much so.
Now, what do you see in the future for Fen and the brand?
What do you think? Well, we actually come out with are we allowed to say 3 new colors?
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
And then I guess the like I said, it's on Amazon right now. It's been launched very very recently, and eventually we're going to look for a path for potentially D2C website, sell direct to consumer, and then and eventually retail. That's kind of the vision.
We hope to help our client expand to overseas, and the first market will hopefully be in Asia. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, starting a brand from scratch, you also mentioned working with Clinique. And I mean, so can you talk about maybe what that was like working, and maybe the difference between working with such an established brand compared to taking a completely new brand to market?
Yeah. Well, budget is one.
But that was pretty nice having Estee Lauder money. But
It's very, very elegantly asked. So, well, I'd say it obviously starting something from the ground up is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's just a lot because you got a completely, blank slate, and the canvas is yours. Too. So, it's the very very different experiences. When we worked with Clinique, it was kind of interesting because we it was kind of a jumpstart type of situation. It's an amazing company. It's one of the top skincare companies historically. It's about 60 years old now, and owned by Estee Lauder, obviously. And they had kind of they were kind of losing their cool to some extent. Kind of losing their way. Not because they had done anything wrong, just so much competition entered. And a lot of innovation, a lot of repositioning, a lot of like new things and claims and whatnot. Regardless of how valid or not they were, the space got very cluttered. So the brand continued to be, I think, true to its own, but it had lost a lot of edge.
Well, may I say, I actually grew up using Clinique for a short period of time, especially in the 80s, early 80s, in the mid 80s. And I think right around that time, well, I think the 70s and 80s was when Clinique actually had their their highest,
Heyday.
right? Heyday. And I think they woke up one day and said that, oh my God, like they have all these like other bigger brands that's been, making the wave, like Amore, Shiseido, La Mer, and like Lancome. And so they kind of had to kind of like take a backtrack and like reinvent themselves and reimagine exactly what skin is all about. And that's when Carlos and his team came in and helped the way.
Well, how do you? Because I can imagine that's difficult to be able to modernize a brand that's as established, but also being able to communicate that to people who might be saying like, well, what we're doing has worked well so far. So, how do you address that to such an established brand that you think, you're a has-been brand or you need to modernize or something like that?
Yeah. Well, the good news is that, and this doesn't, I would say this usually does not happen. What made it easier for us, it was the client. They were aware of the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have to tell them, hey, you guys have a problem. They are the ones that came looking for help. So that was huge. That was big for very smart on their part. And but eventually, a lot of the work we did was for internal purposes, just for the entire team. Internal branding. I think many people often don't realize how important that can be. The internal branding can be as big as the external many times because it'll inspire the team to over deliver.
How your employees think about a brand is how you're going to communicate the brand.
Exactly. If you think about just for as an example, the Think Different campaign from Apple, it was huge for internal purposes. Huge. Because it helped them, first of all, it helped them recruit the top people in the industry. Yeah. And it helped the people in the company be over the top inspired to come up with all the innovation that they did, right?
Yeah.
So it can be very, very big. So that was big part of the objective. So to remind people internally, hey, you guys are Clinique.
Yeah.
So you're not like second fiddle or anything. You guys are it. So the path we took was let's own skin. Let's not say, hey, our product is better or it's more effective. And just go all out there. To be bold, go all out there and just own skin, make it again, like re-own it to some extent. So we kind of came up with this concept about, skin is, people talk about skin deep, right? And skin is like on and it's in, it's underneath, right? Yeah. It has that. So we built this kind of inspirational piece. It was like a Mobius strip, or as you move the movie strip, the outside goes inside and the inside goes outside, right? Yeah. So and the whole narrative was built around that piece, and this was piece that was physically produced, right? And so everything was telling about the in and the on. It's important to what you eat, what you do, whatever, and it's also important what you put in your skin and whether it stays or penetrates or whatnot, right? So and then we literally kind of wrote a book on skin. And all the aesthetic and the visuals were very, very organic and minimal, black and white, kind of very elegant, and just highlighting, to people what skin is, how skin behaves, what skin does, and very, very minimal. Nothing. None of it was a sales pitch. The products weren't even used. It was all about the brand, and it was kind of like a really cool way of saying, hey, we're back. Yeah. We're back and skin is ours.
That's incredible. I mean, the experience from being able to start a brand, work with this huge established brand. Awesome. Well, I think that'll about do it for this episode of Marketing Across Industries. If you're interested in checking out more episodes of the podcast, head over to themachine.biz/podcast. Carlos, Naera, thank you again for being with me.
Thanks, Evan.